One of the features I'm really excited by in PowerPoint is the ability to manipulate shapes. So if you have, let's say, a rectangle and a circle, you can select both of these shapes, and in the shape format merge shapes drop down, you can look at joining them with a union, combining them. What that does is, well, intersects where there's an overlap and otherwise leaves the other shape. It's kind of like an XOR operation in Boolean algebra, or fragment, which breaks them up into pieces, uses any one shape to break up the other shape into pieces, or the intersection, or the subtraction. Now, I actually find this so powerful that it's possible to do, well, almost any kind of shape. So I'm going to just take some shapes from, let's say, Font Awesome. Let's go browse the gallery. Let's pick a shape, I don't know, say address card at random, and see what it takes to create this icon. So what I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit. So I want to be able to trace over it. So I'm going to take a screenshot. Let's see. Take a screenshot of this and paste this into PowerPoint. Let's get rid of all of this. So now that we have this, I'm going to draw over this. So we'll start with a curved rectangular box, and what this box will have is a color that's same as the earlier one. So let's take the eyedropper, pick this. We don't need an outline for this. And okay, they've merged too well. So maybe I'll just put a little bit of transparency so I can see through it. Yeah, and now make sure that the edges match as closely as I can get them to match. And perhaps choosing a different fill color would help in this. Yeah, that's cleaner. And yeah, I think I've gotten the top side to match reasonably well. The bottom side matches too. Okay, now let's change the color back to the blue, but still somewhat transparent. So let's get rid of the transparency. And yeah, that's just the blue. Now, let me copy this over to the next slide and get rid of this one. Let's create the other shapes. So I'll create a rounded rectangle out here and try and match that as closely as I can. We don't need an outline for this, just get a little bit bigger, little bit wider. Yeah, that's probably about the right shape. Copy that over here, adjust it a bit, copy that over here, adjust that a bit. So now we have all the raw shapes, and just to get a feel for it, I made this white. Let's also create this circle. That should be easy enough. And what we do later on is use the subtraction merge shape to fit this in. Now here, I think I'd like to have a slightly different color with some transparency so I can see what I'm doing without an outline. And gently align the shapes. Yeah, it's close enough. So now we have this circle. Now this is the complex shape, right? So firstly, let's get this back to white without transparency. And here, we'll probably need a bunch of shapes. So I'll just take these shapes out to the next page and keep them there as backup. Come back to this one. Incidentally, you'll find that it's so far the alignment is pretty good between these two slides. Now let's create this shape. How could we do it? Well, it kind of looks like there's a bottom rounded rectangle, a top rounded rectangle, and a circle cut off from there. So let's create the bottom round rectangle. That's over here. Let's say, again, I'm going to need transparency for this. So pick something that doesn't have an outline with around 50% transparency. Yeah, move that so that I get the left edge aligned and the right edge aligned, and the bottom curvature needs to be a little, yeah, maybe a little, move this higher so I have some control. I'm only looking at the bottom part, mind you, not the top part. So now I've got the bottom portion aligned. Now let's create the top portion. The top portion kind of looks, well, yeah, almost. Maybe make this a little taller and reduce the curvature. No, I think the curvature has to start here. And this needs to be, okay, yeah, this is not exactly, maybe it needs to be wider. Uh, Slightly taller. I'm just trying to get it aligned as well as I can. Yeah, I think that's close enough. So now we have one shape and another shape. Let's again copy both of these. We just make them white without transparency. Uh, Copy them over to the next one. Should have copied after I change the shape. What we're going to do is do an intersection for these. So, oh, that didn't quite line up well at the edges, did it? So, okay, maybe we should have them both of the same width. So, undo a few things. Yeah, when intersecting, maybe we should have their widths aligned. Okay, that looks close enough. So if I copy these and now get rid of the transparency and in the shape format, intersect, yeah, that kind of looks okay. Bottom piece doesn't look really okay though. This edge, I'm not very happy with it. It's smoother out here. So maybe we should make this a little bit taller, or yeah, what happens if I make this taller and pick a different color for it? Okay, that's not perfect, but I'm just going to go with it in the interest of smoothness. So pick this and get rid of these two, delete it, no transparency. And if on the shape format, we merge these to do an intersect. Still a bit of a jagged edge there, which I'm not too happy about. Let's make sure we align them. Are they of the same width? Yeah, they are of the same width. So if we do the intersection for these, is that done well? Let's copy that shape here. Yeah, that's better. So it was the alignment, that was a gap. So we've got these two shapes, and let's make another copy of this that we can create an intersection on. That intersection gives us, yeah, the original shape, and that's, yeah, kind of like this except for the head. So let's chop off a circle from here. So what we need is a circle that's about this big, yeah, let's say, and we'll take it out here and say from this shape subtract this shape. So that's merge shapes, subtract, and notice what we did with the subtract operation, chopped off this little piece of the neck. So we have this icon. Let's choose the same color that we had earlier. So you'll find that these two are looking similar, but actually these are different shapes. So what we'll do is take the outer shape. From that, subtract all of the inner shapes, subtract, and this is actually now a single shape. You can see that if I put in an outline, the outline applies to the inside as well. You can see that if I put in a shadow, that shadow applies here. So if I format the background with some kind of a pattern or a texture, you'll see that this is actually a transparent icon, exactly like we had on Font Awesome. The features that you have here in for any shape with regard to merge shapes. So when you go to shape format and select these, they're pretty versatile. I've found that every single one of these can be used to create practically any shape of any kind just in PowerPoint.